Yeah, that's a good point that was made just there, because one of these 4 teams that is playing today is not going to be joining us for the final weekend. Oh, so sad.
It's sad. It's crazy, and again, this has been the best tournament of South yet, in my opinion. I think this has been absolutely stacked in terms of rosters, and it makes me very, very excited for things on the horizon, and it makes me even more excited considering, okay, I wonder who is going to end up in that spot later on, whether they get that EML promotion, especially when CS is going to bring in a lot of those relegated teams as well. So much work over winter, and that really starts to get my brain tickled, you know?
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Scrim the most, who will work out those issues. Again, it's hard work, but someone's got to do it, and I'm just wondering who's going to be the main contenders at that point.
The thing is, like, for now, like, compared to yesterday, there's not going to be a lot of time to actually scrim up and fix all your mistakes. Yes, you can have your warm-up scrim. Those are going to be there. But, like, you don't want to tire yourself out when you're starting in a very important official right before. At least I assume. I am, again, not a player. So it's kind of hard to tell, but besides that, Panahona yesterday showed some incredible resilience, where they just managed to fight back the most unwinnable rounds and decided to win them anyway. And that is such a power move for like anybody in the competition, because now Project Zero is also like, okay, well, I mean, and no offense, but like Nifsu isn't the highest rated player on the team. It's like you cannot even give him 1v1s or he will grab it and turn it into a round victory, let alone any of the other players as well.
You'd hope so. Again, key defining factor of this series is going to be that both sides need to just not get in their heads. They need to just be very clean cut about everything. Get into that good flow state. Play some really, really good siege. A bit of setup happening here from Groovy. Wrestling is going to be aware of it. Bit of a spicy place to be holding as a Chanka. About a minute or so gone. A lot of setup time invested on the side of Project Zero. Not really poking too many holes just yet. Really focusing on that kind of little round start to just get that utility out. Work out what kind of approach they want to take. Slow and steady wins the race. I think as a result, you've almost got kind of Panahone being like, okay, they're taking their time here. We just have to hold these angles and just wait for that eventual push to come through.
Ruby is going to take the first one down, removes Hova from the board. No smoke canisters for this round. It's going to be providing them some nice extra fresh air on the attack. Slammy actually digs himself in right behind the soda machine. They're fully aware. Fire keeps coming down as flashbangs are being sent his way as well. The question is there cover? Yes, there is. Nifsu stepping up huge, picking up 2. Lambe will drop, however, right after. But Nifsu, as he managed to get a beautiful ace yesterday in a 1v5 situation, swings out wide, gets 3 kills. He's on for 1 now. EMP impact used to disable that clash shield just temporarily. Cooper's hoping that Nick is going to be showing himself and trying to take the fight 1-to-1. He's not going to get it though. Forced to rotate off, and with these 30 seconds, walking right into Nifsu, gets 4, and not the ace again. With 4 kills for the effort, Uper now in a 1v2 against a Tachanka with 19 Shumikas. And a clash shield that is still running around as well. The diffuser is dropped. The kills is the only way he can try and win this fight. With 14 seconds left and 1 inside a catering, the other backpedaling out of the site. It feels like there's not going to be an opportunity to win this here as the swings are coming in from the teammate. Time is running out. And that means Panahona able to take round 1 on the board.
And that's a really frustrating end of round if you're Upor, because again, the Chanka's just not really coming aggressively at you alongside that clash. You are at that point just getting frustrated because you've just got that walking door in front of you. Great work there from Panahorne, and again, I really do think that they just leaned into the fact that, okay, it's easy to read here. We know they've got a little bit of a setup here. We know that they're taking their time to push from the office side. We don't have to deep swing so much, and I'd argue even, you know, that 4K coming out once again proves that Nifsu really stepping up massive. You know, we spoke about this, however, obviously getting the Gordon Focaccia for the weekend, but we said, you know, Nifsu alongside him, they've really come into their own finally, and they've really kind of upped the ante based on getting that confidence factor back. At the start of playoffs, it was looking real shaky. Really seemed like they were being very passive, very scared, and they've both kind of, you know, nose to the grindstone time. Lovely to see. You kind of touched on this at the start of round as well, you know. Panahorne can just sometimes get these kind of 1vx's going. They can just kind of sometimes have these rounds where one of them will just have this individual pop-off. It's already started, Hap.
This started indeed. Great pop-up from Nifsu. Honestly, like, he hasn't had the best of tournaments, and it's fair to say that. It's not an offense, it's just a factual statement. Yesterday, 1v5 clutch. Now he starts off the round with, first of all, beautiful swing to provide support to his teammate. That's what we want to see. We want to see those, you know, back and forth between teammates. Like, okay, I'm being pushed right now. They know where I am. I'm being flashed. And he comes into the rescue. And that worked out wonders. He picks up 4 beautiful kills. Well, let's see what they can do from here. I mean, Project Zero, they had a pretty good start in that last round. It just fell apart as soon as they wanted to clear out Lambe.
Again, poking holes where they need to. You pull on Spiral, making quick work of getting this yellow control. So there's not too much to worry about in terms of that top floor, so they can start to work their way to that middle, and that's when a little bit of contention is going to start coming in. Project Zero really looking to gain as much info as possible, really heavy on the droning right now. Again, remember, they've got the Spec IO in the hands of Nifsu. Ruby will deal with Lambe. Great start. I think that's going to be traded. No one seems like they're moving too aggressively. Yeah, everyone's rotated back to site, so that open has been gifted to Project Zero. It's going to give them a bit of breathing space as those Exos start to open up this garage wall. Pressure can now be applied from this side. Skeptic, you know, he might peek. At least call out that mirror window. But it's not just sometimes about that physical presence, it's the phantom pressure as well, especially as you've got Groovy upstairs working that sledgehammer. Flexi, of course, with the buggy could also come and... But you know, he's used all of his buggies already. We do have some Verti established in various points. Just to give a little overview, maybe catch someone off guard if they're rotating out and around on that basement floor.
"30 seconds. Smokes are coming in, and Skeptic is going to try and get a plant in right on the breach. Attempt is coming through. 45 seconds will be counting. Is there going to be a nitro thrown out at them? Nifsu is finding himself at a bit of a challenge on the top of Spiral. Flexi will find Rastin. The plan goes down, and 40 seconds now counting in favor. Project Zero, they don't need to swing anymore. They just need to hold. And Nifsu, whilst he's challenging out there on the Spiral, well, he's just the last man standing. And a flawless ramp from Project Zero to follow up on a complete dismantling by Nifsu in the previous round to get themselves that first attacking round as well.
Yeah, it was really nice, and again, I think a key factor for them was being able to, okay, we'll be patient, we'll go for the motions, and it gets a very basic checklist they're going through, but Panahone weren't able to apply that pressure as effectively. You know, they've kind of pulled their way back to site very quickly. As soon as that first pick came in, they were like, nope. And when you do that, it's like, yeah, I understand kind of hunkering down a little bit, but especially when they've got double Verti being established, you know, they're then in this position where they can kind of sell up for something a little bit more impactful in terms of where they're going to start poking those holes, and they really did fight from a strong point there.
A quick technical pause. That 1-1 in score, I mean, it could be very telling of the kind of game we're going to be having today. Back and forth. Big individual plays to lead into some of these rounds. followed up by incredible team play to completely dismantle them afterwards. It's exactly what you want to see in these kind of games right now. The highs and lows of basically every single aspect of Siege.
But I think definitely at this point, this is kind of what you want to see. Like, I don't think there's any room for, oh, one day they'll be good enough. You know, I think this is where it's very much make it or break it. Even for Geeky, even for Secret Academy, for Panahone, for Project Zero, even for Good Intentions. Remember, the Tier 2 finals, you know, that's the main starting point for majority of these teams. Granted, Geeky aren't going to, you know, be there. But for the rest of them, that's their way into kind of Challenger Series, and that's their way to start getting that ball rolling towards that EML spot. And more importantly, too, that T2 final not only gives you the advanced stage in CS, remember, it gives you a SILCQ spot. So you can't really be making these mistakes at this point. There's loads of Siege that's been played over the last few months. We've seen so much good come out. And yes, there has been a few worries where we're worried about some of these rosters becoming burnt out. But when it comes to these make it or break it moments of these tournament brackets, this is where everyone starts to dig deep and we end up with these really lovely series. Again, the Rumble final was absolutely phenomenal to watch. Yes, it was a 3-1 victory in the end to Geeky, but the rounds were so close. The Siege was so good. Utility use, teamwork, like it was absolutely gorgeous. And that's what I'm expecting even in this series between Panahone and Project Zero. Is what I'm expecting in that lower bracket final, the upper bracket final, and eventually the South Breach Grand Final as well. Is the time for everyone to show that they are able to contest against those EML teams.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Of course, it's far out until that contest will start with the EML teams. I say far, but we all know it's getting closer and closer. And time keeps ticking. As we all grow older and older, this is starting to get depressing really quick. Keep going like this.
Oh god, that got so dark real quickly. Did you just have an existential crisis?
Yeah, read a broadcast.
10 seconds left.
You know, every now and then people are asking like, how old are you? And then like, 20. Oh no, 27. No.
That's
time's flying
like,
by.
Yeah.
I'm almost turning 28. Keeps going.
Old is like 70. I think you're allowed to call yourself old if you're 70.
Okay. That's fair. As existential crises aside, the point I was trying to make is there's still plenty of time for them to prepare before they're going on for the EML challenge.
Drones up and running.
Texting is active.
Still a bunch of extra hurdles they first have to go through before they're even ready to do so. But before you know it, it's over, and you get yourself into EML, or you have to wait another year down here in Tier 2. At least, you know, it's fun here. Nice game. As preparations are being done, openings are being made, track stingers are being sent out, the whole shebang. As Flaxy's drone being spotted by the Spec IO finds one player, but now needs to find a way to actually remove him.
Setting breach charge.
Once again, Panahone having a lot of space here. Granted, it's the middle floor. You kind of want that. You want a really solid top floor, and this is where you don't want to give it up at all. You want to keep scrapping. U4 is there. Groovy's going to fall. Lampe will fall. Skeptic will fall. Nick will fall. Clean up occurring on both sides. 2 versus 2 already. Half the round still to be played out. A little bit of pandemonium occurring here. Bloodbath on the top floor of Consulate.
The hive is active.
Flexi and Quick a little bit separated from one another. Someone's going to have to get that kit. Flexi has indeed grabbed it. That's given Panahone a bit of time to go for that reposition. They've both headed downstairs. They're both preparing for this collapse attempt to come in from Project Zero.
Time is ticking. One up above with the diffuser still in hand. They need to drop down to get it on the ground. The The Goo Mine and FNAT both hitting quick together. As Flexi drops in, he's gonna try and get himself in a planting position. The cover now needs to be on. Bit of damage from this, not quite sure from what. As the push is coming over the top, plant's gone down though. We're in a 1v2 situation, but Hova is in the right place there as Quick tried to exit the room. He shuts him down. The counter defuse is coming through. Panahonic to find themselves with a second round on the board. Well played by the defense here, just staying calm, collected, not having to move quicker than they had to. And from there on, themselves a nice second round secured.
So you're doing again, it's more that immediate like smackdown that started occurring. As soon as Upor got that initial kill, it was back and forth between both of these sides. Again, I think that kind of shows the level of lock-in that we're going to start to see from Panahone and Project Zero. That's exactly what we wanted to see, realistically. No faffing about, getting stuck in, gloves coming off. You know you've got to keep on top of those bodies. And again, I don't really think that the scoreline as of yet really shows a danger zone for everyone because of how back and forth it has seemingly been so far. And I am expecting this to continue throughout the entire map.
Anybody need a shave?
A little bit of drone hunting.
Reloading!
I just want us to keep going back and forth. It's my only wish. Just keep trading. Every single map. And we'll see where you end up at that point. I want these teams to go through the absolute limit. It is the final spot that is here for the final weekend. And, you know, yes, we still have a game after this, but both those teams already will be making it to the final weekend. Just one in the grand final and one in the lower bracket final. Hova looking to go a little bit exploring outside. Are they aware?
This will be fun.
Lexi is looking, but of course can't really see. He's definitely worried about someone making a move. Oh, they open up that window as well. Okay, that might actually explain why they are being very cautious. Cooper as well on a bit of support right now. The repel is there from the side of Flexi. This could be a bait. You could know exactly what is happening here. They open it up. They have it. Uber gets it. Beautiful.
I mean, this is that's incredible. I love it. The old bait and switch. Here, Flexi hit that, you know, melee against the window and immediately rappel downwards, knowing, yeah, that swing's gonna come. Upor gets a lovely little freebie. And more importantly, you've dislodged that smoke. Granted, they've still got the Chanka. The Shaminka launcher should be able to hold off a little bit in terms of util, but you've lost those important toxic babes for denying that collapse into meeting. Interesting, this game has been so scrappy so far, but a kind of almost clean form of scrappy, a calculated scrappy.
The attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped. Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
A lot of nice moments of control on both sides, and again, it's such an interesting one to behold. I'm actually wondering if these guys have actually scrimmed each other quite a lot, because there is a limited scrim pool at the moment, especially for the T2 players. So you do wonder, okay, they do have a good feel, a good gauge for each other at this point. Rastin, gorgeous stuff, deals with Flexi. Finally, Bloodbeam still in the other direction. No, you're right, I don't think they have. Oh, Upor has. It's Quick, Groovy, they both follow up. Quick getting barbecued though. And Nick now left at a 1 versus 3. Flash is coming out, he's going to be full white. Will the swing come through? Not just yet. It's also being, there we go, I was going to say tracked by Upor. And I followed up with a cheeky little pop shot there. Really gorgeous teamwork there on the side of Project Zero. Again, having info and covering each other's back, more importantly. Yeah, for the get-go, they were like, I smell a sneaky little suspicion that someone's on this balcony about to try and do a run-out.
They made sure how they knew. What, like, did they have a drone in there? Did they realize that they hear something? Or is it just, watching the countless of VODs that are available and realizing that this is an opportunity they sometimes go for? Trying to bait it, utilize it, and successfully doing so in the end as well.
I think more importantly, it's kind of, Panel Hornet have been doing really well when they're kind of, not overreacting. They're being very disciplined, and then as soon as they start getting a little bit cheeky with it, this gives Project Zero these moments where they can capitalize on it. Okay, you're going to be cheeky. We're just going to shut you down, punish you. If you're going to give us an isolated body, we will take it. It's, again, just so lovely on both sides right now.
10 seconds remaining.
Really makes you excited. The things we'll see throughout the rest of winter. Skeptic bringing out the blitz now. Bringing out those big guns. Ironic to really say that, given it is just a tiny pistol. Yeah, I was gonna say, technically a tiny gun. I'm not the biggest fan of this site. I'll be real. It's not my most preferred. But again, loads of information gain that can be acquired here when you're bringing out the pulse, you're bringing out the cardiac sensor, you're bringing out the spec IO. You can work out where these pushes and where these bodies are. Calculate how you're going to navigate your way on these defenses through holding those crossfires together. So a lot of reliance here on Nick and Nifsu to feed that info string to you.
Boogie inbound. Gonna open some opportunities. The flashbang as well. Nick just walked right in front of Flexi as he was rappelling in. And now a two-man entry to the side of Project Zero. That's something they can work with here. As Nisu's hit the ground running, but the rest of Panahone has 3 kills together, Grace.
Yeah, a little bit dangerous. Kind of a slight small criticism we've had throughout the tournament at times. The reliance on these kind of more standout players. Interesting to see it be Nifsu really leading the charge with that, though. Again, always tended to be a bit more quiet. However, dealing with Flexi. Nifsu finally shut down. Quick gets his one. However, oh, gets one. Knows there's another around the corner. Has to be careful, but Upor is there on that top floor with him. Just having that player advantage really being a benefit in securing that round. Very, very scrappy still, to be honest, Hap. I love it. I'm here for it.
It's very scrappy, but Project Zero definitely feel like they're in control of this map. I think it should have been 4-1 now. I think that would have been a pretty decent score. Again, Nifsu's the one that's just stepping up big. He's putting up many kills on the board. And has been responsible for at least one of those rounds to go their way. Not discrediting the rest of the team. Just saying what it is. If he was shut down on that first engagement, you know, that round would have gone the other way. So those what ifs doesn't buy you anything. Another round, another map, another victory. So it'll just have to continue like they did before and try and make the best of it now. It's Project Zero. Again, they are well balanced out in their kill count as well. Uber is on a bit of a different level though, 9-on-1. Besides that, everybody pulling their weight. Skeptic struggling, but still. It is early games. So we're about to finish the first half.
Again, though, like, I think credit where credit's due. Like, especially, you know, last time they came to this site, for example, as a perfect opportunity, you know, round 3. They played so well on the post Panel Hornet did. They were in full control in that 2 versus 2, and it felt very, very clean from them. And I think this is where Project Zero need to bring that adjustment if they want to have that 4-2 split.
Starting shock drone.
Need that post plant to be a little bit sharper. Need to apply a little bit more pressure.
Drone up and running.
Poking holes immediately on this horizontal is probably a really good little adjustment there from Project Zero as well. Just getting stuck in from the get-go. Might force people, or at least one person, to rotate back down.
Blood out.
they think, you know, almost baiting them to thinking, yeah, direct pressure's coming in. You only got Lambe on site. We will see though. Clutch drone getting a little bit stuck on the old parkour there.
To open an extra hole for it to be able to leave the building.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
Rataros are moving in, trying to destroy some of that utility. Of course, plenty around. The FNATs, the goo mines, those are going to be problematic together with the Banshees, and easily dealt with as well by those RC Rataros.
Time for a wake-up call.
And as quick as used 3 of them, there's only a single one left, but this could be a bit of a top take coming through. You see everybody kind of lined up or ready to go for a rappel, waiting for a bit of movement to come in. Nothing is happening. And Hana is staying calm. They're staying themselves, keeping themselves collective. And as the flashbangs and the phone calls are starting to come in, this is where the push is coming to shove. Uber will find 1 before he gets traded out. Skeptic, though, will find 2. Just mentioned him how he didn't really find his game yet. Definitely big round right after. And Lambe is the last man standing. Needs to get a 1v4 clutch to get this round to go their way. He's looking around, spots 1. It's the first kill for his game. Drone now knowing where he is as he's forced back into exposition. There's going to be options. As goo mines pop, but the plant is attempted. Lambe is in a position where he needs to try and cancel it. He has the pings, but he doesn't have the means to get there unharmed. So now he's just waiting for them to move out of the way, but as the plant's gone through, that means the top floor is being retaken. And as long as we have the 1 member of Quick down below, the top floor was being reinforced, and that 4th round will still go to Project Zero.
Lovely from Project Zero. Really, really clinical on that top floor. Just getting that clearance so quickly. Again, just sometimes having enough bodies and having that info as well. And again, you got credit where credit's due. Upor has been absolutely phenomenal in that first half. You know, again, it's his idea that we've seen Upor over the years do really incredible stuff, but then it was kind of like a little bit of a quiet season. He is back now. He is so back. We've got this gorgeous roster of Project Zero that know each other. They're familiar with one another. You know, they can really make some glorious siege happen, and we've seen that on these attacks. It's been very, very fluid from them. Upor quite literally firing on all cylinders, and then the rest of them as well, really upping the ante. Upor going down, but they're still able to get stuck in, of course, get those picks and clean that top floor like it was nothing, completely uncontested. Again, we just saw this flurry of kills come through in the kill feed. Going on to the defensive side now. Again, I have no doubt this is going to be really lovely and solid from Project Zero. They're so comfortable on this map. But again, it is a good map for Panhorne themselves. I think Panhorne maybe having a bit more of a difficulty on those defenses. Kind of spell where the rest of the map is going to maybe go for them. Project Zero have been so clinical. Again, yesterday, a 7-0 on this map. A 7-0 win.
Vulcans ready to defend.
And a 7-0 was a sight to behold. I'm not sure if you were a Diavoli fan. I think that would have been a horror movie in that case. When does spooky season start? Has it already started?
19 days ago.
Okay, no, I was just confirming.
Yeah, we are fully deep in spooky season, and you know, we can, that consular was a bit of a horror fest really for Diavoli if you're a Diavoli fan. I think at that point you're making yourself a cocoa and you're going to bed early.
Just tuck yourself in, stay nice and warm. Just let it slide off. But yeah, that was kind of what I was wanting to go for there. It's the season. Nice little horror.
I'm wondering how the explosive executes that we've seen from Project Zero on the attack are actually going to translate onto the defense. In my opinion, that's when people might get a bit more freaky deaky with it and go a bit more hyper aggressive. We do see a bit more of a push towards Office actually. Coming there from Upor and Flexi. As soon as they hear that glass smashing, they're pulling back to safety. So at least they're being a bit more passive and a bit more respectful is how I'll put that, Hub.
You know, they heard that there's good boy awards to be won, so... trying to get one of those as the fire pops. First one from the Goya pockets. It's going to start wasting 30 seconds on the main entrance. Where's the Panahona? All pretty much stacked up near Break and Admin. Two still on the rooftop, able to provide some extra width as soon as the push is coming in. But with the Shumikas, the fire is only going to be extended, and at some point you're just going to have to walk on through. Whereas the Shumikas don't have the biggest area of effect as the incendiary bolts are coming in now as well. There's fire on every single site coming in. And Quick digging himself in right behind the soda machine is huge as he finds Lambe. Big opener. Removing a lot of utility from the board, but suddenly they are starting to push up from the spiral side. As we go to 3-4. Project Zero still a man in advantage here as they're holding on tight on their defense. Afraid though someone might be popping up from their rears as they're watching Visa stairs. As Rastin is joining the fight around the long desk. The pre-fires are coming through. It's similar of how we saw Nifsu play yesterday, how he managed to get that big ace clutch. Except for the fact that you still have teammates here. Rastin gets dropped. Flexi with a beautiful headshot and Uper follows up as well. It is headshot galore. And another round will go towards Project Zero. As we get ourselves up to 2-5. They are running away.
Again, I spoke of, I wondered how these explosive executes would kind of translate, and I think sometimes it is just one player going large, getting that opener, and then immediately falling back. Just this sudden kind of penny drop moment of aggression, but then still having that safety aspect where it's like, okay, I will pull back to reception now. Granted, they didn't really, you know, read that Nifsu, I believe it was, you know, getting that secondary angle coming up spiral stairs, but for Panahone, that was a really good approach to make because they were kind of struggling around that hallway area, as teams often do on the attack on the top floor, right? There's always a load of util that you have to go up against. And then Project Zero being pretty aggro. So you want to have that little safety factor, and I think, yeah, Nifsu coming in and, you know, dealing with Quick, who'd kind of rotated back to reception, but what you're not expecting is the fact that two players are holding there, and you're immediately then traded out by Upor. But Project Zero, they're just giving themselves as many options by having that buddy system going. Kind of reading that for them it felt one-dimensional, so they were kind of allowing themselves to get a bit more stuck in. And again, I think that the spiral could have gone into a two-piece actually for Nifsu. Heading downstairs though. Again, both sides already reinventing the wheel, so to speak. Little cheeky attempt at an opener from Groovy. Poking holes from the get-go, trying to find, okay, is anyone going to come to my sight line? Maybe I can get a nice little freebie and then I'll pull off to safety. Again, with Project Zero right now, it's about poking these little holes. And all you better Goldie, get that opener and then get the hell out of there.
Opening already made on the hatches. I'm not sure if that was Lambe. I believe it might have been 2 X-Guards expended. Already see the main wall being opened up as well, and Rastin running above with the shield, clearing a lot of ground. Cooper's out there though, sees that shield, knows that he's unable to take that fight head on. He needs to try and bait him through as he's rotating out, but the tracks are coming in from Deimos. He gets himself into a fight with Deimos, survives, as he's being chased by 3 members of the attack. Flexi is coming in to try and provide some support. Skeptic will go down to Lambe as Groby strikes big. Flexi coming in the rear, has a huge opportunity here as he sees one, finds the kill onto Hova, spots a second, gets it down onto Nifsu. It's only up to Nick now in a 1v3 situation. As the confirms come through, Nick is getting himself in the middle of the side, but the diffuser is dropped upstairs. He needs to go on a recovery mission. With 1 minute 5 seconds on that clock, there's so much time as peekaboo's being played through the window. Nick has the opportunity to isolate a player that's on the side out here and is going to take that opportunity with both hands. He has plenty of time, but the pre-fire is too quick. Project Zero, map point.
Again, even those moments they've got all the info being fed to them, they had a cam in garage that was telling them, okay, yeah, there's that one player and he's pushing specifically here. We saw a little bit of a red ping come out as well. And that kind of prompted as well, even if that one kind of player holding side by himself, even if he would have gone down, we're starting to have that pressure come down from Spiral from the rest of Project Zero, just to give that little bit of a backup, a little bit of a pinch, just to remove that final player. Match point now for Project Zero. Potential 7-2 on the horizon. I mean, yesterday it was a 7-0, but 7-2 victory could be very spicy indeed, and a lovely way to get this series started. Panahune, they just have to dig a bit deep. I think losing a lot of those rounds on defense has really cost them a little bit here.
Activating camera.
Project Zero just being so clean and active on this defense. Speaking of active, you know, we've got the Mozzie, we've got the Pulse combo coming out alongside those Black Eyes off the Valkyrie. So again, just really feeding themselves as much info as possible. We've seen how reactive they've been. Constant stream of information for a reactive team is always going to be a valuable asset to have. Even, ooh, this is a bit spicy. An investment to even block off a push into garage. Yeah, Project Zero, they're covering all angles here. A C4. Hey. Rastin immediately removed, and that is unfortunate. That is painful. You've lost a little bit of hard breach. But more importantly, you've lost a player and that trade can't come through. There's not too much info that's going to be feeding them much right now. Again, it's mostly flank drones that they've got set up.
Stay close to me.
On the side of Panahorne, we can use Nifsu as a form of walking drone as he makes his way up the yellow stairs, but
he's being chased.
He is indeed.
He doesn't know, but this could be a huge double swing. This is why they needed to have the heart breach, because they had a shield that just wanted to move on through and get themselves inside to go for the plant, as Hova will find Skeptic, who was behind. Lambe will find Flexi as everything just explodes all over the map. The plant is coming through. 45 seconds will soon be on the board. It's a 1v4 retake that Groovy now needs to put on the board. We can almost guarantee that's not going to happen. Little magazine size here in the P10 Roni. No Nitro Cell in pocket either, as he managed to get a Swampy kill with that on Rastin. As respect is being paid across the two, the first headshot comes in, the reload as well, 20 seconds. And Lambe was waiting for him. Panone survive a round, bring themselves up to 3-6. That's the first map point parried. 3 more to go.
Again, Panahorne have no right winning that round. Like, that's the thing. That was absolutely obnoxiously lovely from them. Just getting stuck in, having that aggression, and more importantly, winning their ones. Genuinely, just going bolshy like that and landing their shots won them that round. Even the jump in from Nick. I think, you know, we even saw in all chat, right? Okay, that was cold. Just jumping in like it's nothing. To a point where even as you're the defense Project Zero, you're kind of slightly startled in that moment. Because you know where these pushes are coming from, you know your teammates below, potentially about to push up and pinch, and everything just falls apart rapidly.
Attackers need to locate and
Setting Vulcan. Deploying razor wire.
It's funny when teams have a lot of respect for them, for each other. And, you know, when a play like that happens, it's like...
It's cute.
It's just being acknowledged as like, yeah, no.
Reinforcing wall.
I did not expect that. I didn't think you had the dog in you to do that.
Then again, it's one of those things where, you know, I touched on this before, like... I can't imagine that these guys aren't scrimming each other at various points throughout the last 2 months. Just given how dry the scrim pool can be.
Swapping mags. Here's a treat.
So they're very familiar with one another. I think with familiarity and, you know, seeing that, okay, we're two teams that are both going to that T2 final, and that's confirmed, that's locked in, we know that. There is a lot of respect that can occur in those moments. Especially with, like, just... Panel Honey have been so chill about everything ever since July, to be honest.
That's just Finns.
True. That is just... yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
It's the snow. Keeps them cool.
I think I've never seen a Finn that got heated. Just doesn't exist.
No. I was actually trying to like pull it from my brain there if I've ever seen. No, I have not. Lambe, Quick's gonna fool.
Frag grenade.
Very little opener. Again, a bit of a quiet one from Lambe so far. Lambe either goes 11 and 0 or 0 and 11, and it has been a quiet one up to that point, so he signs up the ante a little bit now. And I love that. Again, Panahorne being like, okay, no, we need to pull our socks up. Let's not get in our heads here. Time to send it. We know we've got that stamina. But Zero haven't been able to clap back with a pick of their own either. Nick plans to just go for it, especially with this pressure coming in from Halver. That gives Nick all the clearance he needs to get that plant down. But the mollies are there. That makes the job a little bit trickier. Aware of the kind of approach that's being taken there, Lambe getting caught with his pants down a little bit there. Uport collecting a lovely little freebie. More pressure now going on to Halver on this Blackbeard in this position. Gotta be careful for your 6 as well. But
he sees the laser sight. Oh! Okay. Never mind. Hove up. Just delete it, Flexi, from the game here. In 47 seconds, the fire's still coming through. Groovy finds one. The fire coming out again will force Nick out of the building. Right back on his drone. He goes mid-flight. And with these 30 seconds again, Nick goes in. He's going to take a little bit of damage. The next set of fire is coming through. I mean, you can only do this once more, Nick, because first of all, you're going to be running out of opportunities as Grubby's coming right below, but there's going to be a Blackbeard out there. Has to be careful. Has to be patient. As he's being tagged up, trying to rotate back out. Here comes the last attempt. If the fire's already there, that's Nick. Go, actually! I think he's on like half an HP. There's definitely not more than that, but with 7 seconds, they definitely need to go, and all they need to do, that's it. That single bit of fire is all they needed to stop them from getting the plant down. Just send it through in that final second. And there it is. The round won by a Shumika launcher. The map won by a Shumika launcher.
I think that round kind of is almost feeling bittersweet, to be honest, because Panahorne, they had the right, you know, checklist there. They knew exactly what they needed to do.